When Barack Obama discovered his half-brother Malik was facing eviction and working 3 jobs just to survive, he knew he had to help, but Malik's fierce pride meant any direct offer would be rejected. What happened next became a masterclass in compassion as the former president orchestrated a secret plan that would not only save his brother but transform an entire community. This is the untold story of how one quiet act of brotherly love sparked a nationwide movement, proving that sometimes the greatest victories happen far from the spotlight. Barack Obama pulled his black sedan into the curved driveway of his Washington, D.C. home. The October sun was setting behind the tall oak trees as he checked his watch. 7:15 in the evening. Another long day at the Obama Foundation office was finally over. His phone buzzed just as he stepped out of the car. The caller ID showed a name he hadn't seen in years. "Marcus, is that really you?" Barack answered, surprised to hear from his childhood friend from Chicago. "Hey Barack, yeah, it's me." The voice on the other end sounded hesitant. "Listen, I wouldn't call if it wasn't important." Barack paused at his front door. Something in Marcus's tone made him uneasy. "What's going on?" "It's about Malik," Marcus said. "Your half-brother." Barack's grip tightened on the phone. "Is he okay? Did something happen?" Well, he's alive and healthy if that's what you mean." Marcus cleared his throat. "I run a community center now in Kenya. Malik came by today and Barack, I think he's in trouble." Barack sat down on his porch steps, the cool evening air suddenly feeling heavy. "What kind of trouble?" "Financial trouble. Bad." Marcus's voice dropped lower. He was asking about job opportunities. "Had these worn clothes. When I offered him some food, he just stood there looking at it like it was made of gold." Barack's chest tightened. Malik had always been proud, too proud to ask for help even from family. "Did you talk to him?" "Tried to. Offered him some assistance. But you know Malik said he didn't need charity." "But Barack, when he was leaving, something fell out of his bag. An eviction notice." "What?" Barack stood up quickly. "Are you sure?" "I picked it up after he left. It's from a landlord in Kogelo. Says he's 3 months behind on rent." Barack ran a hand over his face. Kogelo, that was their father's village. Why was Malik living there in poverty? "Barack, there's more," Marcus continued. "I asked around. Malik's been working 3 jobs, teaching at the local school, security at night, weekend work at a small farm. Still can't make ends meet." Barack's mind raced back to their complicated relationship. Malik, his half-brother from their father's side, had always struggled with Barack's success. They'd had their differences over the years, political and personal, but family was family. "Why didn't he call me?" Barack whispered, more to himself than to Marcus. "You know why," Marcus replied. "Remember how he used to be? Malik would rather suffer in silence than ask for help, especially from you." Barack remembered. Malik had always been the one who felt overshadowed, who struggled with their father's legacy and Barack's rise to prominence. Pride was both his strength and his weakness. "Thanks for calling, Marcus," Barack said. "I'll handle it." "Be careful how you handle it," Marcus warned. "Malik's got his pride. Push too hard and he'll push back harder." After hanging up, Barack sat in the growing darkness thinking. His Washington home suddenly felt too big, too empty. Somewhere in Kenya, his brother was choosing between food and shelter while Barack had resources beyond measure. He went inside and headed straight to his study. The walls were covered with photos, the presidency, Nobel Prize ceremonies, book signings, but he searched for one particular picture, finally finding it in a drawer. It was from 1987, 2 young men standing together during Barack's first visit to Kenya. Malik's smile was confident, welcoming. Barack's was uncertain, looking up at his older half-brother with curiosity and hope. Barack touched the photo gently. When had they grown so far apart? Politics had driven a wedge between them, different worldviews creating distance. Phone calls became arguments, visits became obligations, and Malik, stubborn proud Malik, had quietly faded into the background of Barack's global life. He picked up his phone again, almost dialing Malik's number, but Marcus's warning echoed in his mind. This needed a different approach. Barack opened his laptop and researched the situation in Kogelo. The village had struggled economically for years. Many residents lived in poverty despite the attention Barack's presidency had brought to the area. This was where his brother lived, where their father was buried, where family roots ran deep. He found information about local development needs, schools requiring funding, community centers needing resources, agricultural projects seeking investment. For Barack, these were manageable expenses. But he knew Malik would never accept direct help. Barack leaned back in his chair, forming a plan. If Malik wouldn't take help directly, he'd have to find another way, a way that preserved his brother's dignity while addressing the community's needs. His phone buzzed again. This time it was a text from Marcus. Forgot to mention, saw Malik's children with him. They looked thin. Thought you should know. That did it. Barack grabbed his keys. He needed to see this for himself. The flight to Kenya took 14 hours, but Barack made it in record time. He traveled quietly, without his usual security detail, telling his staff he needed a personal retreat. As the plane descended into Nairobi, memories flooded back. His first visit as a young man, meeting Malik, learning about their father, trying to understand his own identity. From Nairobi, he drove to Kogelo, the rural village where their father Barack Obama Sr. was buried. The roads were rough, the poverty evident. When he reached the village, he parked discreetly and walked around, gathering information. He found Malik at the local school, teaching a class of 30 children crammed into a small, poorly equipped room. Through the window, Barack watched his half-brother patiently explaining mathematics to eager young faces. Despite everything, Malik's dedication to education was clear. After school, Barack followed Malik to his second job, night security at a small medical clinic. Malik walked slowly, favoring his left leg, clearly exhausted from the long day. During his break, Barack crept closer and overheard him making a phone call. "Yes, I know the rent is late," Malik was saying. "I'll have it by month's end. I promise. Please don't evict my family." Barack's heart broke listening to his brother's desperation. He watched Malik sit on a wooden crate, head in his hands, the weight of his struggles visible in every line of his body. Around 2 in the morning, when Malik's shift ended, 3 men approached him. Barack tensed, ready to intervene, but Malik knew them. "Malik, we need to talk," the largest man said. "Our boss wants his money." "I told him I'd have it by the end of the month," Malik replied calmly. "That was last month. Interest is piling up. You owe 200,000 shillings now." Barack's blood ran cold. 200,000 Kenyan shillings was significant money in this rural area. "I'm working on it," Malik said. "Just need more time." The man stepped closer. "Time's running out. Pay up or face consequences." After they left, Malik sat in his old bicycle for a long time, head resting against the handlebars. Barack wanted to run to him, to fix everything right then, but he knew better. Malik would refuse help and might even disappear to avoid the shame. As Malik finally rode away, Barack noticed something on the ground, a crumpled paper that had fallen from Malik's pocket. He picked it up and smoothed it out under a streetlight. It was a medical bill for one of Malik's children, stamped "Final Notice." Barack clutched the paper, rage and sorrow battling in his chest. His brother was drowning in debt, working himself to death, all while maintaining the fiction that everything was fine. The pride that had made Malik a dedicated teacher and community member was now destroying him. Barack realized that saving Malik would require more than money, it would require a miracle of the heart. As dawn approached, Barack drove back to Nairobi. He had seen enough. Tomorrow he would set his plan in motion. But first he had one more person to see, someone who might hold the key to helping Malik without shattering his pride. He pulled out his phone and dialed a number he hadn't called in years. "Professor, it's Barack Obama. I need your help." The next morning, Barack sat in a conference room at a Nairobi hotel with his assembled team. His former Harvard law professor had driven from the university. A local community development expert had brought project documents, and his financial advisor joined via video call from Chicago. "Here's what we're dealing with," Barack began, spreading papers across the table. "My half-brother Malik is drowning in debt in Kogelo village, but if I help him directly, his pride will make him refuse." The professor leaned forward. "Malik was always intelligent when I met him years ago. What if we created an opportunity he couldn't refuse?" "What kind of opportunity?" the development expert asked. Barack outlined his plan. The Obama Foundation would quietly fund a new educational initiative in Kogelo, a community learning center that needed a director. The position would pay well enough to solve Malik's financial problems while honoring his commitment to education. "We'll make it look completely legitimate," Barack continued. "Local community leaders will request the funding. The foundation will approve it through normal channels, and Malik will be the obvious choice for director." His financial advisor's voice came through the speaker. "I can set up the proper channels. Make sure there's no direct connection to you personally." "What about the debt collectors?" The professor asked. Leave that to me, Barack said. Sometimes the best solutions come from unexpected places. Over the next week, Barack worked quietly behind the scenes. He met with community leaders in Kogelo, explaining his vision for educational development. He contacted the debt collectors, using his influence to negotiate Malik's debt down to a manageable level. He arranged for the Community Learning Center to be established with proper oversight and community input. The hardest part was staying invisible. Every meeting had to look routine. Every decision had to appear driven by community needs rather than personal intervention. Finally, the pieces fell into place. The Kogelo Community Learning Center was officially announced. With funding from an international development grant, the position of educational director was posted, requiring someone with teaching experience, community ties, and a passion for rural development. Malik was the perfect candidate. Barack watched from a distance as community leaders approached his half-brother about applying for the position. He saw Malik's surprise, his skepticism, and then slowly, his hope. The interview process was real. Barack insisted on that. 3 other candidates applied, and a legitimate panel evaluated each one. But Malik's qualifications, his years of dedication to local education, and his deep community roots made him the clear choice. When Malik was offered the position, with a salary that would solve his financial problems and provide for his family's future, Barack was in Washington, maintaining careful distance from the process. The call came on a Thursday evening. It was Marcus. Barack, it worked. Malik got the job. You should see him, he's like a different man, standing taller, smiling again, talking about his plans for the center. Barack felt tears sting his eyes. Did he suspect anything? Nothing. He thinks it's all legitimate community development. He keeps saying he can't believe his luck, that sometimes good things happen to good people who work hard. That weekend, Barack received a text message from an unknown number. Brother, good things are happening here in Kogelo. New job, new hope. Thank you for always believing in our father's village. Maybe we can talk soon. Malik. Barack stared at the message for a long time. Malik didn't know about the late-night meetings, the careful planning, the orchestrated opportunity. He simply believed that sometimes the universe rewards persistence and dedication. Months later, Barack visited Kenya officially for a foundation event. He made a point of stopping by the Kogelo Community Learning Center, which had become a model for rural education development. Malik gave him a tour, proudly showing off the computer lab, the library, the vocational training programs. This place has changed everything, Malik told him as they walked through the center. Not just for me, but for the whole community. Children who might have dropped out are staying in school. Adults are learning new skills. It's like we've been given a second chance. Barack nodded, keeping his expression neutral. You've done incredible work here. Sometimes I can't believe it happened. Malik continued, after so many years of struggle, to suddenly have this opportunity. It feels like destiny. As they stood together watching children use the computers, the same children Barack had seen looking thin and hungry months before, Barack felt his mother's presence. He'd kept his promise to family, to community, to the values she'd taught him. Malik would never know about the foundation's special funding, the carefully arranged opportunity, the quiet intervention with debt collectors. He'd simply believe that hard work and dedication had finally been rewarded. But as they prepared to leave the center, Malik pulled Barack aside. Brother, he said quietly, I know we've had our differences over the years, politics, life choices, paths we've taken, but I want you to know something. Barack tensed, wondering if Malik had somehow discovered the truth. This center, this job, this chance to serve our community, it's made me remember what our father always talked about, how success means nothing if we forget family, if we don't lift each other up. Malik looked directly into Barack's eyes. I may never achieve what you have, but I'm proud of what I'm building here, and I'm proud to be your brother. Barack felt tears threatening. I'm proud to be your brother too, Malik, always have been. As Barack's car pulled away from Kogelo, he watched Malik in the rearview mirror, standing in front of the thriving community center, surrounded by children and parents, finally living the life of purpose and dignity he deserved. The former president smiled to himself. Some victories were indeed sweeter when they remained silent. When love worked through opportunity rather than charity, when pride was preserved even as problems were solved. His phone buzzed with a message from his chief of staff. Sir, the media wants to know about your involvement in the Kogelo project. Barack typed back quickly, no involvement. This is a local community success story. Sometimes good things just happen to good people. But in his heart, Barack knew the truth. Sometimes the greatest act of love is helping someone without them knowing, creating opportunities that feel earned rather than given, preserving dignity while solving problems. The Kogelo Community Learning Center would go on to serve hundreds of families, but its greatest success was simpler: it gave one proud man his life back, and in doing so, reminded both brothers that family bonds, carefully tended, could heal even the deepest wounds. As the plane lifted off from Nairobi, Barack looked down at the lights of Kenya and whispered a prayer of gratitude. His brother was safe, his community was thriving, and the quiet victory felt more meaningful than any public recognition ever could.